All right, we are live on Facebook and YouTube, and we're just celebrating an awesome day. Layla, it is wonderful to have you here. You are one of the moms that are showcased in this beautiful book that's launching today, Heroes in Our Midst. So, you're in a unique position as a single mom. I was a single mom for 20 years too, so I know and I relate. But I want to hear your story and what Helping Hands for Single Moms has done for you, and for your experience of first learning about them, and just tell us your story.
So I knew my education, it's always been important to me. I put it on hold when I decided to have kids and get married, but it was always in the back of my mind that I needed to go back to school if I wanted to be successful and show my children how to be successful as well. After a couple of failed relationships, I had to really dig deep and figure out what I wanted to do for my future. And it was either go find a job that was, I couldn't even find a minimum paying job. So I knew the only way I could get out of what the situation I was in was to go back to school. And so Helping Hands for Single Moms, I literally was just scrolling on a website through my college, and I filled out an application. And this is when cell phones were about this big. And I sat there about at 1 o'clock in the morning and filled out the application. And I had a call back the very next day and said that they were doing interviews by Friday and to be at a certain restaurant at a certain time. And I was there. By the next morning, I was called by the previous program director, congratulating me on coming into the scholarship program. And when I got accepted, I had no idea the impact it was going to have on my life. I knew it was a scholarship, but I didn't know it was a hands-on scholarship. I didn't know the people I was going to meet in the program. I didn't know they were just going to, because normal scholarships, they deposit it in your school account. You never see anybody again.
Right.
I was provided with mentors. I met Chris. Happy birthday. He's very sneaky.
Happy birthday.
Yes,
We got to sing him a song.
Yes. So I was introduced to him, which I always tell everybody, I think he's my favorite person in the whole wide world. I let him know that I think the only thing he's missing are the angels on his back, the wings on his back. He's been an angel of mine and an angel to so many people in the program. And once I met him and the program, my life got better the rest of the way. I stayed in I can honestly say that. So when the women come into the program, that's what I say. You got here, the rest is going to be okay. From the board members to everybody. So once I got into the program, everything just got better, like I said. And I was able to go all the way through to my bachelor's degree. After I finished my bachelor's degree, as it says in the book, Chris actually reached out to me and said that the program director position was open. And at that time, I was getting my master's degree, and I jumped on the opportunity to work with the moms. So from start to finish, it was really awful when I first came into the program. And each year in the program, that was my only support through school, mainly. That's what got me through, because there weren't a lot. I was always the oldest one in the classroom. Always. I was the 30-year-old sitting in the back of a bunch of young kids that had just gotten out of, school. So I didn't go to school to make friends, definitely. But
you probably didn't have time to either.
No, I didn't. I didn't. So I'd sit in the corner and get everything done. And like I said, Helping Hands for Single Moms, I would not be anywhere close to where I am today. So it's been wonderful.
Wow, amazing. And Michelle, happy you could join us too. And tell us a little bit about your story. How did this all start for you?
The college journey started because I wanted to do what my friends were doing. So as it says in the book, I had two girlfriends that I was really close to who had started college, and it just sounded fun. I had no intention in getting a degree because I just didn't believe I was capable of that when I started the journey. So I started the journey. I realized I was the oldest one in the class. I had a child with special needs who those complications tended to roll in right at finals or midterms. And he was just my motivation to push forward. And then in 2009, I was introduced to Helping Hands for Single Moms, and I applied. And again, I thought it was going to be a scholarship where they give you some financial support and you're on your merry little way. But Chris was so intentional in piloting the program and finding out what were stumbling blocks for moms, and then developing systems to support those so that it wasn't a game changer for them. And I've used the dental care, I've used the auto repair, but most importantly, I think it would be the Moms Network and just Chris as a resource and support system. I went on to get a degree in social work, and then decided I wanted to work for families and not systems. So I decided to do a nonprofit, to have a nonprofit. So I got a nonprofit degree, and then ended up getting put into education only because my son, there was budget cuts in the recession, and my son, I didn't have childcare for him. And so having his schedule left me not stumbling for childcare and October break and spring break. And in doing so, I realized that it really showed me an understanding of the root cause of a lot of our social issues in our communities. And so I know that was also part of God's journey for me. But like Layla said, without Chris, without the program, I don't think I'd be who I am today. And I just think about all the moms who are like powerhouses, who know the struggle and understand, who are now giving back. So like, not only did my family benefit, my classroom benefited, my school district benefits, anyone who reads this book could benefit. I think that it reaches far greater than data can measure.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
I'm honored to be part of this team, this group.
Well, it sets you girls up for so much more success long term. It isn't just the success right now, raising your children and doing all these things on your own and the obstacles that you've had. You find that support system, but even by getting your education, your financial future is so much better than it could have ever been before, because so many moms that I know that were single moms for many, many years, and now they're in their 60s and they're still having a little bit of a struggle because they didn't have these kind of wonderful tool sets that that you girls have been able to be provided for. So what is the single, if you can think of just like for you, Layla, one single thing that happened? I know there's a lot of wonderful things and many, many things, but one single thing that might have happened that you will never ever forget in this journey upon meeting Helping Hands for Single Moms.
Oh, that's a hard one because there's so many. If I had to pick what was the most important, one of the things, they did get me a car when I didn't have a car. I did the dental care. I did everything. It was Christmas presents for my kids. But on top of all that, it was my program director, that she was just knowing that you had somebody there for you. That's what got me through. When it was 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I would do homework until the sun would come up, and it would be Chris and Joanne that I would think about when I'd be doing those things over my kids, because my kids were babies, so they didn't understand at the time. But the number one thing that I got from it was the support. I can't say that enough. It was just the support, because a lot of the women in the program, they're very alone in this journey. Especially when you start school, you don't have time to go to birthday parties or to spend a lot of time even with your family. I mean, I was in front of a computer or in a classroom for 8 years straight, just nonstop. And so it was the support of Chris and my program director, Joanne, that was the biggest thing. It was way beyond financial. It was the mentorship. So that's what I'd have to say.
Well, the fact that you're not alone and that there is somebody that mentors you through this is really, really important, because the aloneness factor in itself is huge. And that can be probably one of the most discouraging pieces of it. Yes. As you keep plugging along every day, but without the support, it's so much more difficult. And so beautiful. How about for you, Michelle?
I would also say the relationships. I just think, there was a time that Chris sat in the hospital ICU with me while David was facing a brain surgery. Like, that's the kind of CEO he was. With all the things on his plate, he came and was a rock for us. So I would say Pat and Howard, Trina, there's so many phenomenal people that I believe were are meant to be part of our village. And that village is what took us past the finish line. So the relationships above all else, I think, was the most important piece for me.
So, Michelle, how has that impacted how you view life today, and how, um, in your spirit of giving back, how has that impacted you?
I feel like it's my civic duty and commitment to pay the blessing forward. I really don't believe I would be here without people believing in me, even before I believed in myself. And so I think that that made a huge difference in my ability to endure and push forward. And I believe that to accomplish success, it's my job now to go back and pay it forward and help other people cross that finish line.
Beautiful. That's awesome. And how about you for Layla? You, Layla?
Well, fortunately, I'm able to give back every single day with my job. So, never did I, in a million years, did I think I was going to be put in the position. When I say the program director was so important to me, she was like a second mom to me. To be able to be put into her position and work with the moms, given the fact that she was so much older than me and had such big shoes to fill, I couldn't imagine going in and being the support that she was for me. I couldn't imagine being that for someone else. So I get to pay it forward or give back to the moms every single day. And I give it 500%. I think it's not a job to me. I never knew it's not even a job. It's not even like you're working. I never could understand how anybody could say that. Right. And it isn't. The moms, I adore them. Sometimes I think I get too attached sometimes because I just get so busy, but I try to give to them everything my program director gave to me. And at the end of it all, I get to see it from the beginning when they're struggling and going through all the horrible things. And then I get to see them get the jobs and buy their first homes and buy their first cars. Like, it's the most rewarding position. But at the same time, that's my way of giving back by giving 500% instead of 100%. And now that my boys are old enough, I'm so proud of them and my little girl, they're right there with me. I mean, they're right there with me at every event giving back. So I've taught them how to give back. So it's been a learning process for all of us. And
it's been a lot of leading by example, and now you can do the same. And think about your children. If you had not have had Helping Hands for Single Moms, where would you be and where would your children be? But this has laid the groundwork so that their futures will be much more secure, and they will make better choices based on what they have watched their mama do.
Absolutely. And I tell the moms all the time, all the horrible things that you go throughout the program, it gives you and your children a bond that can't compare to anything. So it's like, I always tell the moms, like, I think by them seeing, okay, Layla did it, or Layla went through this, or Layla went through that, and she has her boys, she has her little girl to raise. Like, the bond with your children at the end of the journey, it's just an unbreakable bond. So, there's so much, not just the financial, not just, setting by example, absolutely. They have goals. They know that they need to go to school or else. And it's funny because my oldest is like, Mom, is it okay if I just get a bachelor's degree? And I'm like, sure, I guess, like, that's their minimum standard is a bachelor's degree. And so setting that standard in their lives has been It's very rewarding as a
And
parent.
chances are he will change his mind too.
Yeah.
You'll see the benefit of it. Michelle, there was a beautiful story in the book on your chapter about you taking your son to the ball game, and he wanted to sit with his friends. Tell us about that.
So David is in a wheelchair, if you haven't read the book yet. And there's mobility issues and some challenges. And it's always been important to me. I didn't know a normal childhood. I didn't know a normal family life. And so to me, David and I were normal, and we were living the life God had given us. And that's just how it was. And so I've made great strides to make sure that he got to do what everyone else was doing. And so when there's places that he can't go because his wheels won't get him there, I throw him on my shoulder. He's 90 pounds. I'm 120. And I take him where he's got to go. And I tell everyone, I've been blessed because as he gains 5 pounds, I gain 5 pounds endurance. So it's not.
And she just throws him over her shoulder. Yeah.
But I think it just reflects like who we are. I'm not going to let challenges get in our way. I've been given an opportunity to break the cycles of oppression that have bound my family for generations, as these moms have as well. And to me, it just is empowering to know you can make life limitless, but it does take a village.
It does.
Supporting you. You need a solid tribe, but so I just take him. He's gone to Jamaica. He's gone around the world. We've gone to Europe, which is not accessible. We've ridden trains with us throwing luggage and then taking the wheelchair and throwing that really quick and then putting him on my shoulder. And it's been an adventure. It's been fun.
My hats are off to you, both of you girls, all of you girls that are in this or being able to benefit from this program, what Helping Hands for Single Moms has done, but the fact that you stick with it, and the fact that you're willing to, because it isn't without work on your part. You still have to put in the work. You still have to do what is required. It can't be for somebody that's lazy, that says, I just can't do it. I don't want to do it. It has to be that you had the drive to. And yes, support is beautiful and it's what is needed, but it also takes, there's certain amount of character that comes from deep within each one of you. So
It's
beautiful.
For our kids. Like that's what I tell them. The women in this group, they have this fierce love for their children, and that's what the drive is. I see it in every single one of them. So
yes. Well, I'm just feel so honored to get to meet both of you. And Michelle, you and I have had a little more opportunity to be talking throughout this whole process, but my hats are off to you. And I'm so proud, and I'm really excited that I got to be a part of this whole book project and seeing it come to life. And for those that have listening or that will be listening, be sure and pick up a copy. It's on Amazon. We'll be in all the other bookstores as soon as we're having slow things happen with COVID going on and being in the holiday time. I think it had been extra things, but there's 2 versions of this book. Actually, one is without Bible studies and one is with, so there's one thicker than the other, but just know that, the work that this organization does, these 2 beautiful ladies here are a real testament to the work that they do. And they're leading by example. And I want to thank you both for being here today. Enjoy this, love this, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm very honored to be a part of this. All righty. All right.